Good morning, everyone. This is Marty Harger, and welcome back to my series on balancing the chakras and their energy using a variety of tools in our yoga practice, including the doTERRA essential oils. And today I want to talk to you about the third eye chakra, the ajna, or the sixth chakra, and balancing this. This is an area when we think about energetically what's going on in the forehead and the upper part of our brain. We are really talking about our intuition, our imagination, manifestation, wisdom, divine guidance, really the idea of self-reflection and our sixth sense, like getting a sense that something is coming for us, something isn't quite right, getting that wisdom and that vision. And I know for a lot of us, particularly when we get into certain seasons of the year, the spring, we happen to have had a full moon this week when I'm recording this. There's a lot of energy flying around, and sometimes it can get extremely confusing about what our direction should be. So this is a perfect topic to talk about when you get into that full moon energy, that full energetic swirling that happens around us. So when we talk about the balance of the third eye, again, it's about how can we tap more into our intuition? How can we tap into our inner wisdom, our divine inspiration? And this area, when we're talking about this, when we think about the application of the essential oils, for instance, and the yoga practice that we're going to be talking about some ideas with, we want to be thinking about the forehead area. This is about our moving outward into the world, projecting from our forehead. And it's also about internally, if we direct that energy inward, about that inspirational knowing. In fact, it's often the idea of, if we know about the pineal gland, which is actually sort of almost dead center in our brain, if we go from the two sides and we go from the front and back, we get to the pineal gland. And the pineal gland is often considered the connection to our third eye, our ability to see beyond where we are, beyond the moment, into where our direction is going, where our manifestation is taking us, and where we need to be guiding ourselves internally in our vision. So it's really a deep connection, the third chakra, the third eye, the third eye or sixth chakra, the ajna chakra, which is really talking about our internal knowing and our psychic ability to connect with the messages that we have given to us, that are some people call downloading into us, and giving us information and inspiration. It's our highest source of energy. And so this is a really interesting chakra to spend some time with, particularly if you're someone who is looking at deepening or quieting the swirling energies of a seasonal change, the swirling energies of spring moving into summer particularly, and as we get this full moon energy going. So the balance chakra looks like something where your life is really aligned with your true purpose. And it's something that happens without masking, without guarding, when we feel honest and open about the direction that we are taking our lives. And this allows us to really see as we tune in to our subconscious mind. So in order to be able to project our truth without masking, our true purpose without masking, we need to really tune into what is our true purpose. So this chakra in balance allows us to both see with our third eye internally, our internal messaging, and externally, our future direction. When we have an excessive amount of energy in the sixth chakra, we look at sort of the signs of that would be someone who's really manipulative, someone who's in a very high ego end of their lives. They're very mentally rigid. They could have a dogma, like this is the way it's got to be. This is the way it has to be done. This could be taking the form of a religious dogma, a political dogma. This is where there's excessive energy in the mind and the brain. And sometimes we find this with people who do a lot of study and who are highly in their mind all the time. And they can be excessively sure of what they're sure about, right? So with the use of the essential oils, even on a personal note, gently incorporating these into diffusing in your home. If you have someone in your home who's got that or has that excessive energy in the sixth chakra, or perhaps that's you, or on a given day that's you, or right now this season that's you, then I really encourage you to diffuse some of the oils and blends I'm going to be talking about today in your environment. From the standpoint of someone who is deficient in the third eye, sixth chakra connection, that energy about being able to manifest and to reflect internally, to create and have intuition and inspiration. If you're feeling less than energetic in that arena, you could be feeling depressed. You could feel like you can't remember anything, that you feel like a big failure, that whatever you're doing isn't right, and you're feeling like you can't keep anything straight. You're very undisciplined. Your brain isn't functioning right. And when there's a deficiency in the sixth chakra, we also find things like physical manifestations of dis-ease states in the eyes, in the nose, in the ears, in the forehead, in the brain. We find this whole area can be out of balance, and things like insomnia or sinus problems, maybe migraines, or even addiction issues, because that's about a mind-body connection as well. So some of the things that we can do to bring this back into balance, when we have the sixth chakra, either excessive energy, again, that egomaniac, that I'm sure of what I'm sure of, I'm right, I know I'm right, versus deficient, which is, I don't know what I know. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. I'm just going to numb my brain with addiction. I can't sleep. I feel all this pressure in my brain. So when we feel the deficient or the excessive, to bring us back into balance, to bring us back into spiritual alignment with perception and knowing in an intuitive, clairvoyant kind of a space, there are a number of things that we can do. And some of the tools that I've been talking about are the incorporation of color. As an example, a vibrational tool of color is how we visually see things. So we might want to surround ourselves with the color of indigo. Now, indigo is somewhere between deep blue and purple. I'm trying to wear an indigo yoga top today and have a beautiful amethyst stone on a necklace that kind of brings that energy into my being. And I have some earrings that have a little bit of amethyst on them as well. You can also incorporate foods that have these colors. So I want you to think about that sort of deep purple, deep grapes or plums. This season of the year, you get that kind of blueberries. That whole darker coloration in the plant kingdom would be a wonderful thing to bring into your well-being. Now, when we talk about the oils that help us balance the sixth chakra, let's start with some of the single oils. And again, when we think about third eye, nothing beats the idea of clary sage. And clary sage, and the application of these, by the way, is pretty obvious maybe. It's applying oils to the third eye or into the upper part of the head. You can either wipe them on, you could apply a little bit and rub that in. But what you want to do as you're inhaling is even visually think about the pulling of that oil aroma into the center of the brain, into the pineal gland, getting it through the amygdala and helping shift our mood and emotion. I like to think about some of the emotional benefits of clary sage. For those of you who have the Emotions and Essential Oil book, a great tool for your yoga practice. Clary sage is the oil of clarity and vision. So it is something that helps us to shift our perspective and gives us the courage to see the truth. Now, there's a lot more about this, but it really connects us with our divine energy and our divine talent. So when we're looking at how can I get inspiration for where I'm headed, how can I get clarity of vision, where am I headed, where am I going? I love clary sage for that purpose. And I also love using sandalwood. Now, doTERRA's Hawaiian sandalwood is a beautiful oil, very subtle, but deeper aroma. Clary sage, being a flower oil, is one that we can use at any time unless we are pregnant, in which case we want to avoid clary sage because it helps promote balancing of the estrogen in the body and supporting that. Now, sandalwood is a slower oil to drip, and I don't even honestly know what I've got in here, but I'm just going to keep hanging on to this for a little bit until we get a drop out of there. But sandalwood is a beautiful oil to choose because it is something that is used in meditation and and in prayer and has been used for thousands of years for that purpose. I love a little bit of sandalwood. It's a gentle aroma. We could also put a little bit of this on our ears and behind the ears. We can be applying it into our scalp. You know, it's a great oil. Oh, nice messy hair. Oh, those two together are actually really beautiful. So sandalwood, another one. A couple of others in the lemon. We think about the oil of focus. We think about lemongrass. And we move on to even a higher citrus kind of aroma, which gets us into the Melissa category, lemon myrtle. Those in the lemon, it kind of brings us up. And if we think about that, we're just pulling that energy up aromatically. So I love Melissa. It's also a good one to take a drop. I don't know if you all know about this, but if you feel some kind of seasonal threat coming on, put a drop on your thumb and put it at the top of your mouth. It's a little bit spicy and intense, but what goes up on the roof of the mouth is actually a great application for the sixth chakra and third eye, because we're talking about moving the absorption of that oil up towards the pineal gland, the center that we're talking about in the body. And then finally, I would say in the single oils, rosemary essential oil is a great choice, because rosemary is an oil that helps us concentrate and focus in the moment. All of these single oils are fantastic for meditation and for calming the mind and helping us get tuned in with our third eye to have true vision for what we desire, for what our divine inspiration is. Now, in terms of blends, my favorite for this is Immortelle. And quite frankly, I coat my face with this every single night because it does great things for the skin. It's considered the anti-aging blend, but because it is a combination of such high vibrational oils, Immortelle, or for those of you in other countries, I think it could be called Salubel. This is a beautiful oil to apply and has such a lovely combination of fragrances. If you're looking for something a little bit more intense, you can turn to Past Tense. Past Tense is an oil that relieves tension. So when we have that excess sixth chakra energy, Past Tense could be great to help us take it down, right? Relax, open up. Finally, if we're just flying around, we have deficient sixth chakra energy, we could look at how we could use the In Tune blend. This is one of my favorite, I guess I would say, balancing oils for excessive mental energy where it's scattered and unpredictable. Like we don't know, like, oh my gosh, I've got so many things that are going on and I've got to do this. And I think sometimes as the summer season comes on, for a lot of us, we get that excessive energy. It's in nature. It's the longer days, the warmth in the sun. It's and then like socially, there's all kinds of fun things to do in the summer season. So all of that on top of our work and on top of our other commitments with our families can create this really high vibrational energy up in our mind. Boom, 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 right? Can't sleep. I'm so distracted. I don't know what to do. Oh, wait, I forgot to put the bathing suit in for the pool, you know, whatever. So In Tune could be a great choice personally. But what a great oil combination to deepen and calm that excessive energy. So when we're using the essential oils, whether it's the single oils or the blends, we can even look at things like Serenity and Peace Blend. What we want to talk about with sixth chakra balancing is, or what we want to think about is how we might incorporate an affirmation with that. So the affirmations, again, may be logical to go with the concept of what's happening up in this third eye area of the body. It's our eyes. I see clearly with my third eye. I see my future. I see the opportunity. I see my potential. I see that I am a wonderful person with something to offer the world. Whatever that affirmation is for you, I want to have you think about the phrase I see. Also think about the phrase I imagine. I imagine a healthy, active life for years to come. I imagine a healthy, active life for years to come. I see my success in my doTERRA business. I see my success in my doTERRA business. Whatever those phrases are about seeing, imagining, envisioning, these are terms that you can add whatever you want onto that, and think about how with an inhalation of one of these oils or blends that I've suggested, you can start to create manifestation. Putting the aroma and anchoring it with an affirmation can be really, really powerful for change. Now, these are the perfect oils for meditation, as I mentioned. This is about connecting you to divine energy and helping you visualize. Really, I like to do a lot of visualization with my oils and my meditation. And I often try to picture that pineal gland. I try to picture that center of the mind. And just what does that look like? And I just try to like almost pulsing on it. For me, that's something that I do. I mean, I'm sure everyone has their own approach, but I find that incorporating pranayama with slower, deep breaths can help us if we have excessive sixth chakra energy. Also, something like the alternate nostril breathing, where we're focusing on coming up one nostril, focusing on the connection at the third eye, and then back out the other side, and rotating that for a few minutes along with an essential oil, maybe wiped underneath the nose, can be a great way to incorporate the oils to help in balancing chakra energy. And then finally, in terms of asana, it may seem logical, but anything that involves the forehead and it's being touched, it could be something as simple as how we hold our hands and in prayer. It could be something as shavasana, maybe in child's pose, touching our forehead to the mat. It could be anything where we're in, preparing for a locust type of pose, where we're going to be starting with our forehead on the mat and then arcing back up with breath. So anything where we are calming ourselves, including actually sitting in a half lotus or lotus position, just sitting quietly and tuning in. So I hope that these ideas about incorporating the ideas of color, of affirmation, of the single essential oils, the blends of essential oils, and how you can weave them in with affirmation, with your breath work or pranayama, how you can work it in with asana practice or postures in your yoga. These are all things that can pull together to try to help you create more balance in the sixth chakra, ajna chakra, or third eye. So I wish you all a wonderful week, and I'll look forward to wrapping up our series next week as we move on to the final chakra. Thank you for joining me, everybody. Have a wonderful week. Namaste.